Hey guys, what's up? This is Runner Boy 16, and today I am doing a video on something that I've always wanted, but have never been able to get because of the fact that, well, one, my parents would never want me to get one, and that my doctor's office or whatever wouldn't prescribe me one, but what I have got today is a mobility scooter. This particular mobility scooter is a ShopRider Deluxe model or whatever, but the story behind this is that I was actually going, what I do is whenever I want to go look for, I do dumpster diving or trash picking or whatever, go into like really rich neighborhoods or whatever like that, and people there, you'd be amazed what they throw out. And you've seen, and if you've been subscribed to my videos or whatever, you've seen the kinds of stuff that I find in the trash, which is ridiculous. So I found this in the trash or whatever. It was literally sitting as is right now, except I think the seat was off of it, but it was all in one piece or whatever. But the thing is that I think the reason that they threw it out was the front tire was popped and corroded. Like the tires are really corroded. I actually have the tires for it, which I can show you. Which one is it? Here. Alright, so the tires in the back were fine, although they were incredibly corroded. They would fill up with air and they would hold air just fine, but they were corroded, so I decided to get some new tires for the back. The front tire was completely done. I had to get a, I actually took a tire that I had that was a spare that I had for one of my old Razor electric scooters, which I had gotten rid of a long time ago or whatever, but I kept the parts for them, and I'm glad I did, because the front tire for the one Razor scooter worked perfectly in the front of this mobility scooter. But the back tires that you see in the back, those are not stock. The tires that they have in the back are normally this color, but the tires that were in the back were horribly badly corroded, as you can see here. You can see how it's like all cracked. Especially right here. This part here is incredibly bad. You can just peel off bits of rubber and then it exposes literally just the inner tube liner underneath. So literally it was just like a millimeter thick thing of rubber keeping that part from just being bald inner tube. So I decided to get some new tires for it, as well as new batteries. The batteries that it had were completely dead. Like they would not even register on my multimeter. That is how dead they were. So I was just like, you know, I just threw them out or whatever. Actually didn't throw them out, but I have them in my car when I'm going to take them now to get recycled. But I threw them in my car or whatever, and it was like, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to deal with these batteries. They're gone. I'm just going to go take them to the scrapyard and get some money for them. So I went online and got some new batteries for them from Mighty Max Batteries, which honestly is the best company I've ever worked with. Whoops. Sorry about that. They have provided me with batteries in the past or whatever, and I've absolutely loved their batteries. Their batteries are quality control tested. They've all have lasted beyond their lifespan for me, with the type of use that I use them for, and they're built with quality, and the customer service is amazing. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to get batteries for a mobility scooter or anything in the future or whatever, go with Mighty Max. You won't be disappointed. But anyway, I had to get the new batteries for it, which beforehand, while the batteries were in transit and were on order, I actually used some other batteries or whatever because I wanted to drive this thing around, and they were absolute crap. I had so many problems with using the other batteries I had, but once I got the Mighty Max batteries, I have yet to run this thing down to half battery. I've driven it to my friend's house and back, which was like 4 miles round trip, and stuff like that, and the batteries have held up really well, as well as the whole scooter technically. And if you can see, the scooter itself is actually in fairly good condition. I'll actually take you off and give you a little bit of a closer walk around here. Hang on. Come on, stupid tripod. There you go. The scooter itself is actually in very decent condition. There's weather wear and tear because this was left outside. So there's weather wear and tear and just general use wear and tear. Get this thing off. There we go. But for the most part, it is in beautiful shape. This part here, if you're wondering what the heck this is actually not supposed to be like that. This deck is supposed to be just flat on this side. But I had to cut this out because what happened was when I was actually loading this into my car from the place where I found it, I accidentally cracked it. And the thing is, with this type of plastic and with the edge like this, if I left the crack how it was, it would have been a wear point, and it would have cracked all the way to this bolt here, which is holding the deck down. So I had to do that in order to keep it from having any more potential breakage. So I know it looks kind of ugly, but for me, it's fine. I don't care if it looks like that, so long as it doesn't break the whole deck. The rest of it's in good shape too. The deck in the front here has pretty much seen the worst of it, but that's to be expected because it's the front end and you ram into stuff and things like that. So a lot of this stuff I can probably just sand off, but most of it's just fine. This back part here was really dull. It did not have the shine that it has to it right now. It was really dull and filthy, so I actually used WD-40 and wiped it down and polished it off, and it looks beautiful again. Looks like a new one. And this part was actually in perfect condition, except for my scratch right here, but I put electrical tape on both sides there, so that way it's sort of like a protection for it so it doesn't get scratches in the future. The back end looked like this, but the thing was this just wipes off. This is just all dust and stuff that I've collected from the garage because of this. Our garage is very dusty and needs to be blown out. But yeah, but for the most part, it looked like that. But using WD-40, I cleaned it up and it works great. The chair is in great condition too, although the one thing that kind of annoyed me with this was the fact that you have these bolts that are going in like this, and this is a common problem with a lot of mobility vehicles, is that they put the bolts in pointing this way, so you have to have the armrests pulled out, and you can just do that by unscrewing this little knob on the bottom here, and then moving them out or in, depending on your preference, and it'll work. But the problem with these bolts is that whenever you try to put the seat down or fold it down for transit, or putting this thing in your car or whatever, it gets in the way, and it actually cut up the seat right there a little bit. So that's just something to be concerned about or noticed about. But what I've had to do to this scooter to actually get it to work, because the fact when I found it, it didn't have the key, it didn't have the charger. So what I had to do is, this is where the key would have been, and this is the actual charger that's designed to be used with the scooter, which is just an XLR charger. But the charger I have uses the Razor connection, so I just use the Razor connection with a little bit of tape around it to be able to wedge it in place, because I don't have because the hole for it's a little bit too big. So I put it in or whatever and just use the tape to hold it in, and that acts as my charging port. That's where the key was originally put. So what I had to do for the key was I just hardwired it using just a basic connector or whatever, and then just tied it in a series or whatever. Where did I put it? It's in the basket somewhere. Here it is. So it's just this little thing or whatever, and I just tied the wires together, and then I use that as my key. Just pop that in, and then see, it turns on, and it is good to go. In the world, oh, that's just a battery box doing that noise. But this thing is a very nice scooter. I absolutely love it. And that little click you heard was the clutch, which all these scooters have, but This one has a particularly loud one because the plates are kind of worn out, but I mean, it works great. So it has a little bit of noise to it, but that's mostly from the clickings from the clutch, and some of it's from the gearbox, which I need to probably put some new grease in or something like that. But for the most part, this thing works beautifully, and it's a fast mobility scooter. It's not like people always think that these scooters are slow as this, and that's another thing. It has just a speed control knob, which you can just adjust to go whatever speed you want. Most people just think that these things are this slow, moving at like 2 miles an hour maybe. But this one's pretty peppy. I've gotten it up to 5 miles an hour before. So, I mean, these scooters are they're fun. I mean, I don't know why people hate them so much when they're in the stores or whatever. Because the thing is, people do need these scooters. A lot of people do actually need them, but there are some people that just take advantage of them and get them because they're lazy. I decided to get this because, one, it was being thrown away, and two, I actually been needing one of these for a while because I have an artificial hip on my left side, and I have cerebral palsy in my right leg. If you've seen my my story video that I've done, you would know that I have a physical disability, and I've been needing one of these for whenever we go to parks like Disney or or amusement parks anywhere or whatever, and you have to do a lot of walking around. I've been needing one of these because the thing is, I get tired really easily walking. It's no longer painful for me, which it used to be painful as well as tiring, but I just get really tired walking because it's just that with cerebral palsy, you use so much more power to do anything than what it takes for a normal person. So for me, this is actually something I've been needing, so that's another reason I got it. But you can see here it has the thing to be able to adjust the tiller, which you can push the tiller all the way forward. And the thing is, it locks in this position. I do not know why you would need to have your tiller this far forward. For me, it works just fine on the second setting, which is right there. And then this is your little thing. It's like a little pin, and then once you get to the point, it just locks in place, and it's solid as a rock. So the seat on this swivels around, so you can get off of it from the side like this. And it does it either way. It swivels a full 360 degrees. Yeah, so. But these things are powerful. Like, this one particularly is extremely powerful because it has a huge reduction gearbox on it. I can't really show you it, but it's underneath the rear cover where the batteries are or whatever, but it has a ginormous reduction gearbox. So this thing has the torque of a truck. Like, honestly, I could pull something. I could like literally pull a trailer with this thing. The thing is, these things are very durable, and they're able to handle things very easily. Like, I've taken this thing off-roading, I've taken it mudding, which I know is completely stupid, but it was fun. And it handles it beautifully. It struggles a little bit, like the motor bogs down a little bit, but it doesn't do anything to it. Like, it handles it beautifully. The batteries handle it beautifully, the scooter in general just handles it beautifully. So, these things are powerhouses on wheels, so. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this thing because I've always wanted one of these. I finally got one from the trash or whatever, and it's just amazing what people throw away. It really is. I mean, with this thing, all I had to do was just buy some new batteries, buy some new tires for the back or whatever, and it works like a charm. So, anyway, I just wanted to share this with you guys. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Stay cool, YouTube. Bye.